Welcome back to the EULCS, where Stress and I are joined by H2K's Fevin for a look at this upcoming match between Fnatic and Giants. However, before we talk about that, Fevin, quick word on what exactly happened to that series.
Wait, what happened even the first game?
I mean, you can talk about anything. Let's talk about Game 3 really quickly.
Okay.
Then. I don't want to dwell on it too long here.
So in Game 3, it was like really, we were winning so hard. Like we had like 10 kills ahead, and then I think we started getting a bit too cocky maybe, and we were too confident that, for example, I couldn't get one shot because we have a lot of shields, but I was going too much forward, and then I got caught like 3 times in a row, and after the first time they got Nash, and then after the second time we lost the team fight again, and then in the third one I think we lost Nash again, actually. So I kind of basically lost the game alone almost, but it showed as well that we are getting stronger from behind, I feel like, because we, like, in the past we would tilt a lot, you know, and like give more kills away and like let it get to our heads. But I think in the second game, we stalled it out properly, I think, and we didn't really let it affect us in Game 3. So I think that's why we managed to play so strong in the third game until I started trolling a bit.
Yeah, well, good to have that insight. Thank you. Maybe we can touch on that a little bit more, trolling or whatever happens, but you guys do find the win in the end. But focusing in on Fnatic and Giants, Fnatic made pretty big claims when they came into the season, right? You got this hand-picked roster, you got a lot of players being built around. This is supposed to be the new prodigal Fnatic roster coming in, and it hasn't met those expectations. So for you, Fevin, what do you think is the biggest weakness of this squad right now?
Okay, so you mean like player-wise or like the whole?
Player-wise, team-wise, mentality, structure, I mean, wherever you want to take it. I
think one issue for me when I was in Fnatic, and even right now it's happening in Fnatic, that they have roster changes all the time. Like we saw Amazing getting swapped out for Boxa, and then we see again the coach stepping down, just like last year actually, and then now Finlay is coaching them. And yeah, it's just they have good players, but they are not good together. Like I feel like they don't play well together, like jungle with lanes, because obviously it's so different to play with another jungler randomly, and then you have to adjust your whole style, and like, yeah, their drafts are sometimes weird and they just don't play well together. But I think their individual skill, like for example on their bot lane, mid lane, is still like incredibly high, and that's why they're getting their wins.
Yeah, that's a lot of information there. Stress, your thoughts?
I think it's very interesting talking about mid lane specifically, because Caps came in and his first set of games was like trying to solo kill Perks, and we haven't really seen so much of that from Caps. I wonder whether a little bit more of that playmaking style for Caps would go better in his favor if they were trying to make plays, because they've kind of faltered against a lot of weaker opponents. Fevin, you're one of the players that has a very kind of intimate knowledge of the Fnatic organization, the prestige that goes into playing on Fnatic. They might not make playoffs. How much does that mean for an organization like Fnatic?
Yeah, I think it will feel terrible for them. Like not that much, I guess, for Caps individually, because it's his first split. But of course he wants to make it. But for the other like veteran players and the organization who always like been doing well in the LCS and even in playoffs, like it's always good for them. But I mean, if they don't get into playoffs, they deserve it. Like they are not good enough, and I hope for them that they make it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they need to find a way to step up. Rocket is, of course, currently ahead of them, so losing here, it doesn't guarantee Rocket the spot, but it's a very rough road for Fnatic ahead. I want to shift our attention to Giants on the opposite side. This is a team that has been down and out in recent weeks, but still has shown a little bit of strength. How close do you expect this matchup to be, Stress?
I don't think it's a particularly close matchup. As in, I don't think you can say Giants are certain to even win a game in this one. I think Giants, in their last few games, have looked almost beaten already coming into this. And the fact of the matter is, if they lose one single game in this series, they are locked into the promotion tournament spot. So I think Giants have the potential, but I don't expect it out of them.
All right, for you, looking at the Giants lineup, is there any member, is there any strategy, is it Memento, is it Knight, is there anything here for Giants that can help them pull out this series?
I think maybe if their mid jungle can like snowball something, like pushing lane into like killing enemy jungle into snowballing aside with like, yeah, I think that's their only option. But like I feel like once they fall behind, they don't really come back at all, and I know they showed like Talon top and stuff. It seems like they are really desperate like to snowball games, and I think that's what they should keep trying. And against Fnatic, I think it might be hard because they have good laners, and I think they won't get the early game lead.
Interesting. Well, we'll have to see what Fnatic can salvage here against Giants, if Giants can salvage anything back for themselves as we get into game one with our casters.
Thank you very much, Dracos. Good evening, everybody. I'm Quickshot, joining Defisho for this intense matchup because there is so much on the line for Fnatic. A loss here could cost them playoffs.
Yeah, which will be the first time in the franchise history they do not make LCS playoffs. So a lot of pressure on the Fnatic players.
On the verge of making history for the wrong reasons. Let's find out how the games play out before we get to them. Let's take a look at the starting rosters on the blue side for game number 1. It is Giants with Flaxish in the top lane, Memento in the jungle, Knight in the mid lane, Hiku and Hustlin down bottom lane, and their coach, Lozark.
And obviously, if you're Giants right now, you're still actually playing for something. You're not just locked in the promotion tournament. You're almost locked down there, but you can still actually catch Fnatic if you get a 2-0.
Mathematically, there's a chance, and focused faces on both sides of the rift. Let's take a look at Fnatic, who are on the red side for game 1. They picked this side with Soaz in the top lane, Broxah in the jungle, Caps in the mid lane, Reckless and Jez's AD carry and support. And for this week, it'll be Finley on stage with them. Regularly their manager, of course, Nico the Pico and Fnatic parted ways earlier this week. So that means they're not going to have his support in picks and bans. Finley, of course, more of the team manager. We should expect less support from him.
Oh, for sure. It's going to be just the players, I feel like, deciding this pick and ban phase. And we don't know, how much it was the players before.
Yeah.
Because Fnatic was very outspoken about how it was like the entire group who obviously decided this pick and ban phase. In the end, I think Crepo had a great point about like, you put the blame on the coach because it's his responsibility. But a lot of coaches have like this setup where players add a lot of value in this pick and ban phase, often gets to decide which champion to lock in the end.
Especially when you have seasoned players like Soaz, like Reckless, like Jez's, and formerly like Amazing. Anyways, that is a topic for later in the game. For now, patch 7.5, we're jumping back into it. We've seen a little bit of fun stuff this week here in EULCS.
Yeah, definitely.
Blitzcrank almost won a game. Unfortunate for Vitality, it didn't. Rumble, Talon, kind of the flavors of the week to an extent.
I mean, we get to see this target ban against Knight. His talent was very good.
Yeah.
Individual performance as a team, it wasn't that great. It became an ARAM with Talon. Not exactly why you pick him, but Knight alone was good. And I think if you're Fnatic, you're probably not afraid of general OPs because there's not that many on 7.5. So you're more afraid of individual Giants members maybe going off. So that's why we see target bans like Talon against Knight. You don't want to risk him being a 5-0 Talon who can maybe win the game.
Yeah, and of course, Giants, they already have a loss to their name this week. They did play against G2 Esports on Thursday in a series they ended up losing. This time around, last ban that Malzahar still very powerful, very favored pick.
He's been banned on blue side almost every game on 7.5 because you just don't want to first pick him when there's so many counters like Lulu, Tahm Kench, Ashe picks, Nothing feels worse than getting that Malzahar first pick and then seeing Ashe Lulu on the other side. You're like, yeah, never mind. This is not going to do anything in lane.
Yeah, not worth.
Just not worth. And you don't want to give it over either because they can compare Malzahar with, that AD carry.
What I love, though, is the diversity of first picks we have seen this week.
Yeah.
A number of very different champions, and now Nautilus thrown into the mix. Also a flex for the Giants squad.
Of course, Hustler Beast, always been known for his Nautilus. A lot of great and terrible moments.
Yeah.
We've seen a bit of both from the Nautilus support. But I like this 7.5. You mentioned it, Trevor. We've seen so many different first picks. We've seen so many different bans because no one has 100% figured out this patch just yet. And because what happens is we keep nerfing the strongest picks and we don't really buff that many other picks. So a lot of strong ones are still good, but they're not that much better that you have to get rid of them every time. And it just opens up a massive field of viable champions.
There used to be this super elite squad of S-tier champions, the top of the pile, and they've been hit in the head by the nerf bat just a couple of times.
A few times.
Over the last few patches. On the Fnatic squad, they run down the clock and they lock in that Lee Sin for Broxah. I'm quite excited about that. His mechanics on stage has been very good.
Yeah.
Sidestepping those Cassio ultimates. Let's see if he can pick off any wandering Giants members.
And I think Fnatic has gone in here with the approach of, get comfort picks. We talked about, banning away Giants comfort picks like the Talon. I agree with that one. And then now you get the best jungle pick for Broxah. A lot of teams here would have gone Graves. And they would have been like, great, we get the Graves, we ban the Rengar, this is fantastic, we get a good jungle setup. But I like getting this comfort pick for Broxah, get a strong early game, because the early game for Fnatic has been atrocious lately. they've been winning games by going to 45 minutes and defending the Nexus.
They've been winning games when opponents have allowed them to.
Yes, that's
You know?
why I like this, because now they can be active. Strong laning from Zyra, not as strong as it used to be, but still good. And then early pressure.
Okay, early pressure from that Lee Sin, a little bit of early pressure on the side of Giants as well. Memento's going to get Graves. Decent wave clear,
Yeah, but
decent invade.
So this is where, you know, the conflicting opinions in my brain start fighting with each other, because, you know, one side of me is like, ooh, I like the comfort because nothing is working for your team. Then the other side is like meta. And I'm looking at Giants and I'm like, hot dang.
Meta.
I like it. I love it. Like, you have, you know, my preferred AD carry right now in Ashe. You have my preferred jungler right now in Graves. And you have my preferred top laner in Nautilus.
So what you're actually saying, Deficio, is Giants is playing the Deficio favored meta, and that's why you like it so much.
Well, the left brain's favorite meta. And then Fnatic is doing this thing, but that I also like, which is we don't win by playing meta, so we have to play pure comfort. And I'm not saying Fnatic's picks are not necessarily in the meta. It's just picked in a different order than we normally see.
Yeah, different order indeed. Lucian was locked in their last pick of Phase 1 for Fnatic. This will be the first time that Reckless is playing the Lucian.
I like it.
And as we jump into Phase 2, Renekton, Gnar, top lane is being removed from the pool. Are we confident this is a top lane Nautilus?
No, we are definitely not. I think there's a high chance it will be.
Yeah.
Also, now that we see things like Gnar getting removed, we might even see Leclerc taken away. Source did try and play it. I say try.
Yeah, that is the operative word.
So I think if you're Giants, you know, get Nautilus top lane, fairly easy to execute. You have a strong team fight already with Graves and Ashe, so I think you can then draft a team fighting mid laner as well, and you have a really good setup to kind of deal with Fnatic later on in the game. But you gotta respect his bot lane. Lucian, Zyra, very explosive, early game pick with Lee Sin as well. So Giants need to be careful they don't end up with like losing lanes, because then you might see a Fnatic team coming out swinging.
Yeah, that's what Fnatic need. That's what Fnatic wants. They are currently on 4 series wins in their group. Rocket have 5 series wins. Fnatic needs to pick up this win here. And we know the top lane for Sours, it's going to be Shen. Got that little save me button.
It's also there, you know, we have a strong 2v2 bot lane. Call for Shen level 6, dive the enemy bot lane and destroy them. Giants are looking to switch the Nautilus down to support. Classic Hostlin, as we mentioned.
Always was an option with Giants, maybe more so with the Giants squad.
But this is what I think is risky. This is what I think is risky now, because now you have Maokai top lane, which is such a slow scaling pick now. Yes, he's great late game versus the Shen. It feels to me like Giants are saying, you know what, guys? Fnatic's early game hasn't been good enough. Let's draft for late game and then beat them late game. I still think Fnatic can do something early on, and that's why this might be scary for Giants.
It might be, if Fnatic can improve on that early game decision making. But, to fit, what? Kale is locked in? I honestly did not think that was going to happen.
Oh, I like the bigger man bases in Europe. We've had so many fun picks. Mid lane Kale for Caps. Now, he is a player with a champion Ocean who has so many different picks. Not always they manage to be successful on stage.
Yep.
I've seen a few people here and there like tweet about playing Kale in solo queue, going 10-0.
Do you like it with the rest of the comp?
I don't know, honestly. Let's see. Normally Kale is really good if you're like trying to either pure split push, which they can do with Shen on top side and Kale going bottom lane, because she's insane 1v1. Like, have fun killing her 1v1 when she can ult herself. Or the other way you can use Kale is if you have like a hyper carry. You know, you put the shield on the hyper carry, he can't die, and then he's the guy cleaning up, but this is Illusion, so not exactly that kind of situation. This is my name is Caps.
Yep.
I'm 17 years old.
Yep.
My team has been losing, and now I'm going to carry 1v9.
Yep. Now, we've seen it support a bunch of times in
That's in the
China,
protect that AD carry.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And this is going to be mid lane. Is there enough damage on the Fnatic squad? Because that's the other thing I'm looking at that I'm questionable about.
The thing about Kale is Kale's late game damage is quite insane. Lucian's late game damage, while he's not a hyper carry, there's a lot of flexibility in his kit. Mid game is probably where he'll shine the most. So even against Maokai, I think there is just from the Kale, but I could be wrong here.
We're gonna find out. The Fnatic flags are flying here in Berlin as they take on Giants in game number 1. Caps with his debut teleport Kayle in the mid lane, and Reckless for the first time this season on Lucian. And this could be the most important series of Caps' professional career thus far. Hell, it is the most important because Deficio, they are on the verge of being knocked out of playoffs.
And you do not want to be one of the players on the Fnatic team that does not make playoff for the first time in history.
Oh, this is exciting because
That would suck.
Giants, on the other hand, they're playing for their lives as well. Mathematically, they can still grab 4th if they can pick themselves up some wins.
It just got dark in here and the crowd went kind of nuts about it.
Yeah, no.
As you can see on the player cams.
Yeah, you can see on the player cams we've been ganked by Nocturne.
I knew that joke was coming.
Yeah, I know you did.
I was like, should I
thought
say
you were
it?
going to use it. Actually, I'm disappointed you didn't.
I'm not like, you know,
Play-by-play.
dad quick shot who's
Yeah.
like bringing up these kind of
Why did the age thing pick up all of a sudden the last few weeks?
Oh, that one, yeah.
You know, because I remember last week I wasn't even on the show.
Yeah.
And you threw me under the bus by calling me old. I couldn't even have a chance to reply.
But it's true, it's a fact.
Yeah, okay.
You can't really
I knew
reply
you were gonna
anything.
say
Like
that.
you're the oldest member on the broadcast team, so I did it in a nice way to say you had a lot of experience. You know? We all looked up to you.
So much experience. I know that the last time Senkux played Kayle was the last time in the European LCS in
remember
summer
that.
last year.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, do you remember if they won or lost?
They lost.
They did lose.
Yeah, I
well
remember
played, well
that.
played. I totally didn't get that from the stats team. I swear I remembered that.
I just remember we were like, ooh, Kayle, this is going to be awesome. And he was like, he's useless. He's doing absolutely
Yes.
nothing. We don't want to see Kayle again.
Seen that a few times. I remember Power of Evil's smite Kayle. Even earlier than that. That was pretty spectacular.
Smite Oriana as
Yes,
well with the pentakill.
Pentakill.
Caps drinking, the crowd going crazy.
Just to give you guys a quick update, I am waiting for clarification on the technical pause. Once I do know the details, I will share with you guys. But let's take a look at the players on your screen because it's very, very serious looks. Flaxish, Memento, top off of the map. I mean, Flaxish, this is the 8th time he's played Maokai this season. His next most played champion is Shen at 4. So a super, ultra, mega comfort pick for Flaxish.
Based on his LCS career, yes.
Yes,
Based
yes.
on the rest of his career as like, you know, challenger player, solo queue player, definitely not a comfort pick.
No.
It used to be things like Riven, that kind of stuff. Then you enter the LCS, your coach is like, nah, my friend. What about
Well, look,
Maokai?
He tried the Riven as well.
He did.
I
actually remember him getting quite a few solo kills.
Yes, but did it impact much else?
No, but that's
Yes.
because his team was losing.
Okay, so that's the
the
team's
classic
fault.
Riven one.
That's
It's
the team's
always,
fault.
it's never Riven's fault.
Yeah,
Never.
sounds like your professional career as well. It's
I
always
know.
somebody else's
I
fault,
know.
isn't it, Deficio?
Yeah, we just blame Sven Skaren in every game.
Well, as you can see, we are back in game. Evidently, somebody found the light switch, and we'll see how this one plays out. Advantage Caps on the damage. He started off with the E. Got that Righteous Fury up. What build path are you anticipating with this mid lane Kayle?
Nash's Tooth is always a steady standard. See Hurricane quite a few times. One of the things I really like about kills, I feel like there is a lot of different builds you can go for.
Okay.
Like you can go for extremely heavy AP as an example. Rage Blade is something I see actually as well, like Nash's Rage Blade. And once you get these stacks really quickly, because they stack up so fast on Kayle, you just sit there, and if they don't actually stop you from hitting, you're just gonna hit like a truck after a few seconds.
Well, there we go. Reckless gets hit by a truck. As Hustling connects with that dredge slide, but then instantly runs away. It's like, nope, don't actually want to continue this fight.
Because I think, if you look at Kayle, and we just ignore everything else. And just
Okay,
say,
I'll do that.
so she's based on auto-attacking.
Yes.
Activate E, slap, 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 slap. Now she's gonna get Nash's. She's most likely gonna get Rage Blade. She has
Okay.
Fervor of Battle as well. So when she enters the fight, it's gonna be kind of meh, not impressed. 3 seconds later in that fight, you're gonna be like, holy moly, what's happening here? That damage is absolutely insane.
Well, really luckily for Fnatic with a Maokai and a Vlad and a Nautilus and a Graves, those fights tend to go a little longer, right?
I think that could be one of the reasons they actually think this pick can work here, because they're against tanks. 2 tanks, then also the Vladimir obviously will be in the front line trying to get to Caps and get to Reckless. And that means that Caps, maybe for some of these fights, can actually just kind of sit there and
have a chance to whack away.
Yeah.
Also add that ultimate to the Shen ulti. Maybe there's time. So we'll follow Caps once the team fights break out. For now, Reckless and Jez is pushing in the bottom lane. Not surprising. Equally so for Caps, and In actual fact, Soaz had shoved Flaxish under the tower. So early pushing lanes in favor of Fnatic.
Yeah, you have to remember Maokai got nerfed pretty hard in the early game, which is why a lot of people stopped playing him, or at least as a prime pick, and he's only like now an answer to tanks, which is why we see him here. We've seen him against Nautilus a few times as well. Never the most exciting lane phase, but it is still a very good scaling pick, and that's the thing. We said this in Champ Select. Giants seem to say, Fnatic's early game, we don't believe it. We don't trust in it. We can actually just go to late game against these guys. Problem is, Trevor, that kind of goes against everything Giants have been doing all split long. Because they've been purely focused on the early game. And one of the worst late game teams we have seen.
Well, looking at performances from the first 4 weeks to the next 4 weeks, both Giants and Fnatic have had ups and downs, right, in recent weeks.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for Giants, they've had slightly more downs, I think, in recent weeks, you know. Yes, Fnatic have also been on a downswing. They picked up most of their wins in the first half of the split.
Yeah.
But these are two struggling teams, so maybe this is the confidence series. This is the one where you can start to turn things around as Broxah. A lot of damage down to that first combo before he runs away.
I mean, you also just have to feel a bit bad for the Fnatic players because everything is going against them right now. Obviously, they can be blamed for some of them, but then you suddenly see Rocket out of nowhere becomes a good team and beats Misfits 2-0.
Yeah.
You're sitting at home as Fnatic kind of preparing to say, you know, they're going to lose this. We can then take this game against Giants. A little bit of ease, you know, because we still locked in that playoff spot. And then they win, and you're just like, it's even more pressure on you right now. So it just made it harder for these Fnatic guys. I think if they win game 1, they're going to be fine. But I can definitely see a situation if they struggle in the first game where this will go downhill.
It's officio. We were doing some prep for Fnatic.
No, we weren't. Don't lie
And
to people.
I want to follow the story in a moment or two. Broxah has 100% first blood participation on Lee Sin in the 4 games he's played. This will not make it 5 games as he shoots the Sonic Wave ever so slightly. But looking at 3 of the last 5 series, Fnatic won game 1, only to lose the next 2.
Yeah, their
stats
really
in game
weird.
1 really strong. They come out the gate, they land a knockout punch.
Yeah, after 50
In
minutes.
game 1, in game 1, I'm
Yeah,
saying.
after 50 minutes in game 1. I agree.
And then they go to lose the next 2. They get reverse swept
It's really strange.
3 times.
Because you would think it's because they lose the first game, then they can't really bounce back mentally and it all goes wrong. But normally when you win the first game, you feel great. Going into the second game,
Maybe it's overcorrecting. We've won. We have to win again. Let's change everything. And
maybe
then lose them all.
they use the best of ones.
Yeah. Haven't adapted. A lot of old players on that roster. With a lot of experience.
See, now you're bringing up the old part as well.
I am experienced players.
Yeah, see, there you go. There you
Experienced
go.
players.
You're the experienced caster.
Yeah, I've been taught the terminology.
I love going back to Season 3 and rewatching games with you and then seeing like how you looked back then and how you acted back then compared to now. It's a completely different person.
It is. I got my haircut, I took my eyebrow piercing out, and well, I'm still
You got
casting
really
the same
good at
players.
casting,
I'm
you
still
know.
casting the same players, yeah. You know, Soaz,
Soaz, yeah.
Reckless, Jez's even. Different teams.
He was a
and
Season 4 guy.
different scenarios. I was there too, mate.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So
That's true. It's the same players. All right, let's see this game here because you mentioned Fnatic with some of the pushing lanes early. It will start evening out. Flaxis has gone all in for laning phase, triple Dorans.
Yeah.
So that is great for now, but it's really bad when you go back a second time because then you don't actually get anything useful because you've just invested all your gold into immediate power. He's trying to just stay even, because what Giants is trying to do now is avoid having 3 lanes pushing against them, because they don't want Fnatic to have full map pressure and then can use that to start getting down early tower. So they're trying to just even out the early game and saying, we're gonna scale anyway. We can invest in early items and then wait for the bigger ones a little bit later.
well, Giants seem to be doing okay with that. You know, under pressure, like you mentioned, those 3 waves. Broxah starting to combo up with Caps. I think for the second time, we saw it a few minutes ago,
Yeah.
and didn't really gain a whole lot. Smite fights over the big raptor?
Yeah.
Not yet.
And that's the thing, you know, not only is Kayle a champion that needs a few seconds in a fight before she really ramps up, like the same with items. She's very item dependent because whenever you're so focused around your auto attacks, you need a few key items in there to kind of buff them up. Same with an AD carry, basically. So while Caps can push, he's not insanely strong at the moment. He needs time. 2 items is what I'm really looking for.
We'll find out whether or not Caps will get that time.
I agree.
Playing with potentially playoff spots here on the line. Need to get that series win, as we mentioned multiple times, and we'll continue to mention throughout the game. Let's turn our attention to sort of CS even across the board, despite these pushing lanes. Broxah not found an opportunity as Soaz. Get a good trade here. Broxah's actually coming from the river. Are they going to dive him?
They probably can. There's a ward that's going to spot him, but there's no one who can really respond. There's no teleport. And Memento's on the other side. So Broxah can take away the topside jungle and look for that potential dive. He's level 6. If they just dodge, or if they don't get fooled by twisting advance. Twisted advance?
Yep.
Yeah, there we go. You know, I'm trying.
Gonna play it safe. Gonna play it safe.
This is why I just said W.
It's good, good effort from him.
Yeah, I'm trying.
To Fisher. Because we've also seen actually Broxah and Soaz mess up dives several times.
Oh yeah.
This split. So gonna play that one cautiously. Soaz is winning on farm. 2 waves up at the moment.
And now he has ulti. He's level 8. They have ultis on the bottom side. Like, this is where I want to see Fnatic make that bot lane play. But what you notice is, if you look at the minimap now, it's not exciting, but look at Flagshiz. He's walking back to lane. He's okay giving up a wave of CS to save teleport, because he knows Fnatic's way of really snowballing is a bot lane play where he can't join, because Shen, of course, has double global. They find Broxah now.
They do, but he's able to ward hop the safety really easily.
So I just want to say, thank you, Flagshiz. You know, a solo queue tendency is just TP back to lane every time, care about your own CS only. He's doing this for the team. He's ready to go to the bottom lane if needed.
Well, that's very important because Fnatic's team comp is somewhat built around protecting this ADC. Fnatic as a team all split long have had success when Rekkles has been one of the damage dealers. And you can see this in terms of CS per minute, gold percentage, damage per minute. Unfortunately, though, it hasn't netted as many successes as the team would like, you know?
Yeah.
Rekkles is like a very good, reliable player. But he's not the hard carry that'll win you series single-handedly.
No, I just think like this graphic here is just really good to kind of highlight how individually Rekkles can't be mad about his own performance this split. I think instead though, and this is not like an attack or something on him, we still haven't seen Rekkles kind of become a leader outside the game. At least that's not the vibe we're getting from
the perception
Fnatic.
that we have.
The perception we have, like, they tried last year, built some teams around him in Feb event. Never really worked. They never really got synergy issues, coaching,
Star
players, whatever it is, you know. And then this split, you're like, okay, we're trying again. Now we're just rebuilding around Rekkles only. He's the veteran. He's the guy who's been here all the time. He's the leader. And once again, it's a Fnatic team where it seems like synergy becomes a problem.
Yeah.
It must be a little bit hard for these players to perform at 100% because they don't seem to click.
Yeah. Which is frustrating when the announcement in the beginning of the split for Fnatic was this 10-man roster built around culture, built around mindset, and...
But it takes time to build up culture.
Yep.
It's not one split. This can be a year. Like, this might be a full 2017 project of finding the right Fnatic for the future. Because we also have to say, you know, they're not at risk right now of getting relegated.
No.
Jesus is maybe at risk because he's going to face check.
Oh, Jesus is going to get caught out. Memento flashes over the wall. Stranglethorns will buy some time. Somehow, Jesus gets first blood. Knight is now in trouble. Stand United will deliver some support to Broxah. It was interrupted. Somehow, Flagshiz stopped it. Broxah's ignited and he's running away. Here comes Rekkles. He started a fight. A full channel on the culling. Manages to bring in the Dragon for some support. That's a kill for Rekkles. And Fnatic get 2 for 1.
Exactly what Fnatic needs here. They're the team who wants some early gold. Giants wants to just wait and scale. So the fact that Fnatic finds a bit of a random fight here in the river, actually set up by Giants. They were the ones hiding in the bush. See it again. They're hiding. They're waiting for Jesus. They think they can one-shot him. Good flash from Jesus. And then instantly back because Rekkles.
Oh, Rekkles gets caught by the Ash Arrow, gets bonked on the head by the anchor. Flash and heals available. Teleport coming down from Soaz. Rekkles flashes to deny vision. Getting tagged up by the Q. That means Hiku gets the kill. Now Soaz turns it around. So for 1 for 1. Here comes Broxah. Sonic Wave needs to connect. Not gonna throw it or follow it just yet. Interventions available. Gonna get used. Tower aggro's on Caps. He self-casts. Fnatic get 2 more.
It's perfect for Fnatic. They get these fights that are both set up by Giants, but Fnatic, they respond. Soaz with the teleport after using ulti in the previous fight. One of the great things about Shen, especially here early on in the game, how quickly he can join multiple fights. So we go back to the first original replay. Jesse's with the flash, buys enough time, ends up trading 1 for 1. And then the Shen ulti comes down. Rekkles is gonna move from the bot lane because while this fight is happening, Hiku was in base. This was supposed to be quick, kill Jesse's, get out. Operation backfired though, and suddenly they were stuck now in a full-blown war.
Fnatic even enlisted PvE elements to help out. This is the second half of that fight to Fisio. Ash Arrow into the TP from Solas.
I hate that hitbox though on that skin, but Rectus gets hit. Good kiting around, has the heal. Buys enough time, honestly, just for Source to join. And now with the rest, you can see in the main map, everyone from Fnatic is on the way. One of the beautiful things about Kayle is how good she is at diving as well.
Yeah, I mean, it helps when you have an invulnerability
Exactly,
button.
that's great.
I think that's kind of cheating, but as we jump out of the replay to Fisio, first blood, first dragon, first tower, Fnatic with the 3,000 gold lead.
So, Giants' game plan, built for early game in terms of items. Wait, 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 scale, scale, scale. Just backfired because they forced plays. Giants forced 2 plays, have now lost both those fights, have now lost 2 towers as well. And suddenly, the map is wide open.
Yeah.
Which means this Kayle can soon go to a side lane, perma-push it, and get a Shen ulti if you ever want to fight with her, and her own ulti, which means she will always get her 5+ seconds per fight to smack people left and right.
Get the chance to stack that fervor, get the chance to potentially stack Rage Blade. Please build Rage
Oh, it's
Blade.
coming, it's coming.
Rage Blade Hurricane, that's what I want.
The Rage Blade is definitely coming. It's coming.
Maybe not Hurricane, I'm getting too excited there, but Rift Herald's going to be secured here, potentially safely. Yeah, there we go. Safely secured. Soaz is even going to pick that one up. Slight interruption from Hustlin there. Easy escapes. And Fnatic, they get all of the objectives at 15 minutes. I mean, the last 4 weeks, Fnatic at 15 minutes have had a 400 gold lead. This is nearly 8 times that amount.
You know, the 400 goal lead, it doesn't sound that bad. If you consider the fact they haven't won a series since week 5,
Yeah.
where they beat Origin 2-0. So it shows that Fnatic rarely fall really far behind early. It's the mid game where it just dips, it just gets destroyed because the mid game macro has just not been there for Fnatic against so many teams in Europe.
So how does Fnatic play this mid game? I'm looking at some of their initiation tools. Is it really Broxa or Soaz that has to find the flank? Answer that question in a minute or two, because Knight is under pressure. Stand United from Caps. Remember, he's got that intervention to save his life underneath the tower. Hemo Play's gonna pop in a second. Knight continues to run away. Where's the support from Flaxish? He's teleported in. A tower's gone down in the bottom lane, while Fnatic are running circles around Giants. Reckless and Jesus, they're not done yet. They keep pushing in the bottom lane.
They're also pushing top lane. They have a Graves up there. It's 3 guys from Giants pushing the top wave. Bottom lane is just a dual lane. Flax is here to try and wave clear.
Okay, what can Flaxish do? The Ash Arrow goes wide, right between the uprights. Jesus uses the Stranglethorns onto Flaxish. He can't get the Vengeful Maelstrom because it's on cooldown. Reckless will get a kill.
But
now
in top lane.
to the inhibitor. These are 16.5-minute inhibitors. The earliest of the spring split, 2017.
Oh man, we've had some exciting games this week. So Fnatic, they're back away. They cannot get this one because everyone from Giants either recalling or respawning. So they lose top inhib. Caps mid lane though, that's actually one of the answers to your question about what does Fnatic need to do. You know, they don't have that much engage. They don't need engage because they have the tower pushing potential of a Kayle. They're the ones who can literally push in a wave, go to that tower, and force Giants to engage on them.
Fisher, is that why more towers have been killed than champions at 17 minutes?
Well, I'd say there's different reasons. The fact that we've had so many small fights escalate into like multiple kills and then towers is the main reason we have this open map with 10 towers down at 17 minutes. Surely that must be the most towers at 17 minutes that has been killed.
I think that's a safe statement to make. I think you can jump on that one. When I cast Vitality and Splice on Thursday, there was a 19-minute inhibitor, and I was checking if it was the earliest. It wasn't.
I remember.
1801 or so was the earliest.
Well, now Giants got one.
Now Giants have the record for the earliest inhibitor secured at just over 16 minutes, and it's Fnatic that have to deal with super minions.
But early inhibs, like this early inhibs, sometimes end up being annoying for you. Let's see, there might be a fight, Trevor.
Okay,
there's no Kayle here.
Keep an eye.
She has teleport.
It's re-engaged on, and it's just 2 gigantic tanks
Yeah.
whacking one another. No further fights.
So that was a disappointing one. But what ends up happening when you get this early of an inhib is that lane becomes like a dead lane for you because nothing is going to shove the minions back towards you.
And who is that? Is that Giants now?
Yeah, so if top lane for Giants is kind of dead, they're not going to get any minions there, but that means they're going to play the other side. That's exactly what they're doing. Because Fnatic put their main pushing Champion and Kale on top side, so they're gonna trade again. Fnatic might try and run for this top lane inhib.
Fisio, Giants of Fnatic. They're trying to
That's
play.
not gonna work.
They're trying to play PvE League of Legends right now. Trying to avoid one another's team compositions. Right, Ash Arrow dashed away from. Yeah, big ooh from the crowd. That sounded a bit disappointed, actually. I think they wanted to see the fight, the blood.
Well, esports crowds haven't really 100% learned the boo yet, which we see a lot in traditional sports. It becomes like ooh, ah, and you don't really know if they're unhappy.
It's
or...
BM. I've seen Reddit doesn't like it when that
yes.
happens.
that is a good BM.
Okay, so Fnatic, they still maintain a 4,000 gold lead, but it feels like Giants have some sort of map advantage with the vision and how they've moved from lane to lane.
Well, this top inhib will respawn in a few minutes. That means Fnatic will not have to deal with that super minion wave. And that's again where we go back to it, where Giants have this lane that's never really going to push back towards them unless Fnatic pushes it back. So that means you might see a lot of play around bottom side until Baron, is alive and we're like 25 minutes into the game and you're healthy enough to take it. But Giants, despite being down in gold, because they've gotten some towers, have gotten quite some gold. Like 2 items now on the Vladimir. 2 items very soon on the Ashe. Same for the Maokai. So this scaling comp is getting gold despite being down. Just because Fnatic has gotten even more gold doesn't mean the scaling comp is not getting anything at all.
Yeah, the advantage and the room for growth is still very good, especially when you look at all the vision that Giants have to work with. Jungle is completely littered, which is allowing Hustlin and Knight to feel confident on this invade.
Basically, everyone is rich in this game right now. No one is actually poor and like starved completely. Definitely an advantage though when it comes to the Kale. 2 fully completed expensive items. The Rage Blade is 3,700 gold. That is a lot. He has it completed now, so he's gonna start hitting like a truck. And that is the key thing for Fnatic. I think Maokai late game is a good answer to it. Sit right in front of the Kale, keep her busy. Problem for Giants is if they can't get any kills in the start of these fights, slowly Fnatic will get rid of these tanks.
If there is one advantage to Giants team composition is a lot of AoE and really only single target shields on the side of Fnatic. So if Giants can have appropriate target switching and calling, maybe that's how they can win fights.
But this shield from Caps doesn't go on anyone else but Caps. Like, this is not I'm helping my teammates, Kale. This is, I need this because I am trying to win a fight here.
I'm really glad you said that now, because I was, I could put my foot in my mouth, blame him for not saving someone like Reckless.
I don't know, he's gonna, maybe once or twice he's gonna use it there, but let's see, like, it is very true though. Kale versus AoE comps was never like, the ulti wasn't that useful, you just save one guy. But I have a lot of experience dealing with late game Kales back in my days, and you quickly get surprised about their late game damage.
Especially after, 3 seconds is the magic number.
3 seconds-ish.
Sure. It's official. Fnatic still 5k up. Infernal Dragon will be spawning shortly. Baron is in play. And the biggest thing I'm noticing when I look at the minimap is Giants seem to have more wards in play for a longer period of time. This is the first time I've felt Fnatic not trying to push that vision deeper into Giants' jungle.
And now we have to see if this defensive vision from Giants will last, because now Fnatic is setting up around the top side, around these control wards. They're going to find them. They have the pressure on the bottom side with the Kale. We mentioned this. Remember, guys, the split push. Kale will win the 1v1 down the bottom lane against almost anything. And she can just constantly push away. Source is trying to do the same on top. Gonna find the Maokai.
Okay, how tanky is Flaxish?
Not very tanky.
Not very tanky at all. Flashes over the wall, eats the culling, and runs into Jez's. It's Reckless that secures the kill.
Jez is debating, should I take the kill or not? Ends up not even getting an assist, but this is exactly what Fnatic were looking for. You can have whatever defensive vision you want. If you then walk in and face check, you die. Vladimir is bot lane without teleport, trying to stop the Kale. That's not happening. Kale can TP into the fight.
Fnatic will be able to pick up a Baron here if they stick around.
Where's damage?
Fight is breaking out. Tonight is obliterated. Say goodnight. He's killed. The inhibitor as well. 4 members of Fnatic still
He's gonna go for Nexus turrets because Fnatic right now are keeping the rest of Giants busy, and he's destroying the towers.
Nexus turrets being thwacked away from. Now look at that. Caps with the Rage Blade and the Nash's too. Still has teleports available, and he backs away. Fnatic in absolute control.
And you're in the worst possible situation now if you're Giants. Because if you send Maokai bot lane, he's not gonna do anything right now. He takes forever to deal with these super minions on his own. So Fnatic with double teleport have full map control, because wherever you send caps, you're pushing, you're winning. And whenever you can push the lanes, you have all the openings in the world to then leave, go do something else, maybe threaten getting another inhib, maybe get a Nexus turret, because you are winning that side lane and no one can go to stop you. If you go and stop a KO, 2 members, it takes like 5-6 seconds to kill her because of an ulti as well, with the time she can kite around, and then you're losing Baron. Yeah, nice damage. Was it 3 seconds? Make it 2 seconds. Make it 2. Make it
Yeah,
2.
that felt like 2.
Because obviously when you then activate, you get a little bit there, and then you smack around, and it's both like applies from the hit and from the magic damage. So that also stacks a little bit faster. And then when you have again the fervor, the rage blade.
The 0 to 60 time on Caps' Kayle is so short.
This is a fast one.
Oh, yes.
Have you ever driven an electric car?
I have not.
0 to 50 is so fast. Like, it is so funny. You kind of get shot back in the seat as well. That is Kayle.
All right, well, there we go. Electric car Kayle. Huston's going to survive for a few seconds.
That's not how you put on a headset. What's he doing?
Broxah takes him out. And so far, Fnatic trying to turn this around. Flaxich is in a good position on the front line, and Soaz forced to defend.
Yeah, but look at the Nexus.
Away.
Get the camera on the Nexus.
Is under pressure. Caps, he's taken down both. There's a teleport from Soaz.
Oh my God.
Fnatic, they win game number 1 with the backdoor Kayle.
Oh, what a funny game, man. The camera was like, oh, look at this fight here. This is what Giants Comp wants to do, but we said this time and time again. Remember the Kayle.
Wow, the crowd clearly on the side of Fnatic this game.
It's all about the Kayle. It's all about Caps. This was not a pick for the team. This was not, Rex is my friend, I'm gonna shield you. You can go in and carry. This is, no. I will win the side lane. I will take the turrets in 2 seconds, and if anyone tries to stop me, I will kill them in 2 seconds. This is what happens when Kayle gets to go to 2 items so early on in the game without being pressured at all, because we had 6 Fnatic, Fnatic took down 6 turrets. They had like 40k gold in 20 minutes.
I know, it's ridiculous.
Like, then you get these items really damn quick. It's 3,700 gold for a Rage Blade for a reason, because when you get it, you're really strong.
You're far too happy with how that game played out, Deficio.
Come on, I love this.
Fnatic
This is so funny.
punished Giants' decision-making. The one thing that you drove home from Picks and Bans in the early game is that early game for Fnatic is so important. Giants wanted to scale, and then
They forced fights.
They gave Fnatic the opportunity to scale. Let's take a closer look at how Fnatic won game number 1 over at the analyst desk.
Thank you very much. A glowing review from Deficio. It was funny. Always what we love to hear in a competitive game. I want to first start by looking at picks and bans. Kayle was a big surprise to me. Is this surprising to you? Where is this Kayle pick coming from? Is this something that we should expect in the meta?
Not really. Like, I think he's just been practicing it in solo queue and in scrims. I actually played against it versus him. It didn't go so well for him, but I think Kayle, right now, you can actually outpush Vladimir, because Vladimir doesn't have that much wave clear, and as Kayle, you can always push. And also, when you have the Shen, it's really hard for the Vladimir to fight. And yeah, they just push, and then they eventually like get the Nexus.
And so much of that even is in the side lane. Like, Maokai's not doing anything against Kayle 1 versus 1. Like, there's almost no way of stopping this comp pushing in. And Giants kind of gave away a few too many fights early. This Kayle finally gets those 2 item points, and the game's done.
Okay, so what is it specifically in this case that makes the Kayle successful? Is it the Shen? Is it the matchup against the Vladimir? If someone is looking to pick Kayle in competitive, do they have to have like this perfect scenario, or can this pick be more flexible?
No, I think it's more likely to be a counter pick. I think you can only pick it against champions with low wave clear, because if you play against Orianna, for example, or Syndra, you have too little range, so you can't actually push because you will get harassed. And also you will get low HP, so you are vulnerable to ganks. But if you can push out and you have like the protection from the Shen and you get some kills, like he didn't even get kills early game, but his team was ahead and they won. Actually, he got kills on bot lane, but after this he didn't stop pushing and they didn't have any answer for it. So it's a good counter pick, I think, yeah.
Okay, so I want to take a look at the replay. It's Fnatic Baron as we bring it up. This is the moment where there's inhibitors falling. This is just absolute insanity. Can you talk to me a little bit about, of course, Baron's going down in the meantime, about what the comms are like for a team in this situation? Have you ever even been in this situation in competitive where you're taking Baron, Sorry, we were hoping to get the Baron and the thing, and we just got the one thing.
There was just a Dutch flag right there. I don't know why there was a Dutch flag, but no, I think I've been in these situations. Like if you're playing a split pusher, you just want to say all the information. Like I can kill this guy, I can take inhibitor. You guys can back up if you want to, because I will get inhib. So I think at this moment they could get both. So yeah, it was a good call from them, and they were just safe.
I think for Fnatic, that's like one of the shining examples of when Caps knows he's ahead. He's just like, okay, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to take the inhib. Like, that's the play style we were talking about with Caps in the early weeks that kind of fell off for Fnatic. And I wonder whether some of that maybe the inexperience and the hyphiness that the NALCS use as a term, I wonder whether that's what Fnatic have kind of needed to let loose a little bit more, because Caps just seems very confident in a matchup that he's just like, okay, I've won this already.
Well, it's not like the pressure's off.
Right.
Of course, unfortunately for Giants, after losing that single game, it does mean that they are now locked into the promotion tournament, but looking now potentially to win the series. How do you come back as Giants? This game felt like it was all over the place, constant action everywhere. Even if there's anything you can change, is it the draft phase? Is it the early game? What needs to shift for Giants here?
Yeah, it's a draft for sure. Like they have, I'm not sure about the top lane matchup, but I think it's just farm, and Maokai is nerfed now, and Shen has more impact globally on the map. And then also, I don't really like blind playing Vladimir. I don't know why people are on the Vladimir hype train right now, but I think it's a good counter pick, but not a good blind pick, because you see he just gets pushed even by Kayle. Like, Kayle is not even being played, but still Kayle works against Vladimir. So you see that Vladimir just gets countered, like, as a blind pick.
Yeah, is there, I mean, for you, Stress, what was like kind of the biggest issue that you saw from the side of Giants, or maybe even from Fnatic? I mean, it obviously wasn't the cleanest game on either side.
I really don't like the Maokai. Like, you had Nautilus already. This either highlights that Hustlin has a very small champion pool, that he always goes to this Nautilus, or Giants are just like, okay, well, we've got the Nautilus, we can play Maokai. Maokai is great, right? In the top lane, and Flaxish is like, yeah, give me Maokai. And you're like, you have like the best tank already in this draft. Like, that's one change-up that I think they could have picked that Nautilus. I think it would have gone a little better. I don't think it was enough to save the game.
Really rough.
I think they had 3 losing lanes as well. I'm not sure about the bot lane matchup, but they had 3 losing lanes, I think, or like get pushed at least. And then, they just failed plays. Like, I think the draft is fine, but if you lose early game and you don't get to the team fights and you get out split pushed, I don't know how you can do much.
All right, final question. Is the Kayle ban worthy? It did sort of solo split push the Nexus down. Is this something that you have to now draft around, or is it as simple as just never pick Vlad again?
No, I don't think it's ban worthy. Like, I think if you blind pick a Orianna or a Syndra, they can never pick Kayle because you just lose lane so hard. And I think it's just a counter pick to Vladimir maybe. But who knows? Like, maybe this guy will blind pick it, like, and maybe he's ahead of the meta, We don't know, because he plays like champions that are not good mid, and no one is playing them. So maybe they don't want to deal with it anymore. Like, I have no idea.
Maybe Caps is the new Prophet. Well, we're going to go on cooldown, but when we pop back up, it'll be game 2 between Fnatic and Giants, and maybe game 2 for Kayle. Maybe.
Is maybe at risk because he's going to face Jet. Oh, Jesus is going to get caught out. Memento flashes over the wall. Stranglethorns will buy some time. Somehow Jesus gets first blood.
Instantly back because Reckless.
Oh, Reckless gets caught by the Ash Arrow, gets bonked on the head by the anchor. Flash and heals available. Teleport coming down from Soaz. Reckless flashes to deny vision. Getting tagged up by the Q. That means Hiku gets the kill. Now Soaz turns around. So for 1-for-1. Here comes Broxa. Sonic Wave needs to connect. Not going to throw it or follow it just yet. Interventions available. Gonna get used. Tower aggro's on Caps. He self-casts. Fnatic get 2 more.
Find the Maokai.
Okay, how tanky is Flaxish? Not very tanky at all. Flashes over the wall. Eats the culling and runs into Jesus. That's Reckless that secures the kill.
She's in a good position on the front line, and Soaz forced her to fix it.
Look at the Nexus! Get the cover of the Nexus!
He's under pressure. Caps, he's taken down both. There's a teleport from Soaz.
Oh my God!
Fnatic, they win game number 1 with the back